Dashidele, welcome to my channel Himalayan Dumplings, where I share Tibetan recipes both old and new. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Kiki, and today I will be sharing a recipe for one of my favorite Losar dishes. We call it Changkoe or Koenden in Tibetan, which essentially is fermented wine that is made either from barley or rice, and it is served in a porridge form. It is probably the first dish that we eat, young and old Tibetans eat, on the first day of Losar. So let's get started and see how this is done. Picture now. First step is to prepare rice just like you normally would. And while the rice is cooking, now is the perfect time to grind our dry yeast into a powder form. It doesn't have to be perfectly powdered, but coarse like this will do as well. Spread the cooked rice on a clean, dry, flat surface like a hat and spread it out into a thin layer so it can cool down faster. This is really important step. Only once your rice is cooled down and is still warm to touch, not hot but warm, then you spread out the yeast powder as evenly as possible. Next, you make sure your yeast powder is applied evenly, so you give it a really good mix from one end to the other. And then pack it up into a container of choice with the lid on so we can begin the fermentation process. So the final step for fermentation is to wrap it up. This is a shawl that I used to wrap around my waist and hips as well. So now I'm using it to swaddle my pot of chang. And now we find a spot in the house that is fairly warm and dark, and that's where I'm gonna put my chang to ferment. So the fermentation period is fairly flexible depending on where you live. I fermented mine for about 5 days, and there have been times when I fermented it for 3 days. And you just kind of pay attention to the smell. You can definitely smell there's a distinct sweet fermented smell that will come out of your cabinets. And this one smells so good after 5 days, and I'm gonna give it a taste. And it tastes so delicious. But hang on, I'm gonna show you a really amazing way to make Changkoe or Koenden. First step of making koenden is to take the fermented rice you just made, add some water to get this type of consistency right here. Give it a stir. Next, we add sugar, again based completely on your preference. This is an optional ingredient right here. It's Churra or dried Tibetan cheese. This step right here is a game changer. I'm simply adding 1 beaten egg slowly to the pot of Changko while I stir it consistently. That yellowness from the egg will eventually go away, and your Changko you will take it to the next level. I promise you gotta try it this way. Anyway, Losar Tashidele. 간대대.
Cheers.